and then we will get started here. Um, let's see when it tells me that we're live. And then we will get started. Okay, so it goes live long before it tells you it goes live. Okay, welcome everybody from YouTube. Welcome to the Healing Haven Book Club. Let me welcome everybody on YouTube, and then we will go into the Zoom. Periodically, I will go live in the Zoom, but periodically I will go live on YouTube. And oh, I'm not certain how to do it here. How do I? Okay, let me put into the chat here for YouTube and say hello to everyone who's joining us on YouTube. I want to let folks on YouTube to know where to go if they want to be able to join us into the Zoom. It's absolutely free. So welcome, YouTube. It is free. Go to Dr. Alicia Book Club.com to join for free in the Zoom. Okay, if you are joining in from the Zoom, from the Zoom, then you get shout outs, you get your questions answered, and you will have an opportunity to interact with us. But if you're greeting us on YouTube, I want to welcome you to the Healing Haven Book Club. I also want to let everybody know, even folks who are joining us in the Zoom as well as YouTube, that you can you can take advantage of joining and getting the recording. So if you like what you're hearing today on Zoom, you can. If you like what you're hearing today, either on Zoom or on YouTube, and you want to sign up, be sure to go to this link here. You get the recordings and replays and all other information. And here are the discount codes. Let's see. It's the inner circle. And let me copy it here because I want everybody to know where to get it if they want to get it there. So um, it doesn't like it. Okay. Um, let's see. Okay. Hmm. Okay. All right, let's see. There it is. So there you guys in YouTube land, that is the information that you can get. Let me see what's happening in YouTube. Why is my screen black? Okay. All right. So, hello to everybody on Fly Nubian Queen. I'm going to now go over to Zoom and say hello to everybody in Zoom. How are you doing? If anyone in the Zoom who's watching right now, all of you guys who are watching, if any of you guys want to get the recordings, because this is our second book and we're on the second chapter of our second book already. So if you're interested in our first book, which is How to Be an Adult in Relationships, it's about all types of relationships. If you want healthy relationships, go ahead and join the inner circle. You have access to the recordings, the replays, and everything. And these are the discount codes that I put in the chat. All right. So let's continue with our book. Let me grab a swig of water. Right now, we are on chapter 2, full in the middle of chapter 2. Hi, Alicia and Aisha. Hello, Faith and Rhonda and Tamara. OG, hello, where are you guys coming from? Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Rhonda, I don't know what page we're on. Hi, Miss Anita, how you doing? Love Miss Anita. Sorry. Okay, Alicia's from Las Vegas. Sharon's from North Kakalaki. Yes. welcome, New Jersey. Welcome, Kyle. Anyway, excuse me. I'm gonna now go to the, oh, I got the cover here. So here's the book that we're looking at. The Inner Work of Relationships. It is by Kat and Nat. Inner Work of Relationships by the Yoga Couple. Excuse me. You guys follow the Yoga Couple um on Instagram. They have it's a wonderful couple, and they really recreate healthy relationships. And I think it is so beautiful to do that. Not only are we talking about the inner work of relationships, all of them, it's also an invitation to heal your inner child while you're and create a conscious relationship together. So their whole premise, I think it'll be worthwhile to go over, kind of do a an overview of everything that we've talked about, because it really culminates to the section that in chapter 2 that we're covering today. So see if I can get back to where we were. Let's see. Chapter 2. Chapter 2, we got all the way up to um the part where it addresses where it all began. I don't know what page that's on. It's 8% of the book from what I'm looking at, of because I don't have the paper copy, and my copy is I mean, my digital copy is not, it doesn't sync up. It's just how my digital copy looks. It says 8% of the book. So I'm on 8% of the book, chapter 2, where it says where it all begins. And I think it would be worthwhile to kind of go over a little bit of a preview about some of the things that we have been talking about in the book club. And so that we can talk about where it all began. Okay? So far, what we've learned in chapter 2 has been relationships are patterns and relationships are cycles. And the whole point of it all is for us to understand where the relationship is in our pattern, in our cycle, how and why we behave the way in which we behave. So, some of the things that they've talked about, let me go over some of the chapter toppings here. Oh, it talks about relationships don't happen in isolation, that the way we love, the way in which we attach ourselves to another person, the way in which we react in our relationships, the way in which we do all the things that we need to do to protect ourselves, particularly our worry and our anxiety, it's there to protect you. The way in which we pursue connection with another person is shaped by our earlier experiences. It also speaks about many of the struggles that we face in adult relationships. None of them are random. It's not just random things that happen to you. There's a pattern to it. Oftentimes when I meet with couples, I usually will ask about, tell me about your dynamic. What happens? So when you get upset, how do you normally react and respond? Okay, when you respond in that way, then what happens? And then I try to figure out what the patterns are. I'm almost like a scientist trying to understand the dynamic that happens between two people. So, and then, another step when I work with a lot of my couples is that I try to understand that this pattern that happens in relationships, they're often repeated by something that is similar to your family of origin, especially when you experience pain. And that sometimes familiarity is like chemistry with another person. I don't know why I like that person, but I really like them. I'm drawn to you. This is chemistry. You don't understand. You're not even conscious of it. I just like him. I just like her. You don't even know why. Has that ever happened to anybody? You don't know why you're so drawn to a certain person. Unconsciously, you're drawn to somebody who feels similar. And one of the things that we have been talking about in this book club is that unhealed emotional pain often shows up in our closest relationships. Romantic relationships activate old childhood wounds, childhood fears, and unmet needs in the present, whether you're conscious of it or not. And the point of this book club, the inner work of relationships, is to bring what is unconscious up into your conscious mind so that you understand why and how you do some of the things that you do. Patterns. Why am I always attracting this type of person? And what's wrong with the world? And what's wrong with relationships? Well, it's just there's something in that person that is familiar. And of course, in relationships, we project. We do a lot of projections, right? So conflict in relationships is often more than the present moment. It can bring up old wounds. Sometimes, have you ever been in a relationship or have you ever seen this in a relationship? Will somebody will make a mountain out of a molehill? There will be something small like I don't know, I forgot. I'm forgetful of something. I forgot to bring the milk home, or I forgot to call you back last night. I'm so sorry. I forgot something. Or it could be I broke your favorite cup. It could be whatever happens in when two people are interacting with each other, and it's not really that much, but you're just wondering, why am I overreacting like this? Why is my partner overreacting? It's really not that big of a deal to me, but it is to them. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. It just means that maybe there's a deeper wound that's been activated. If we could interact with each other in that way, it would be so much better. We would get along in our relationship so much better if we don't take it personal because it's not personal. Somebody's overreacting, they're not reacting to you, it's bringing up old wounds. You're replaying these patterns, and a lot of couples become stuck. Trigger points are activated. Yes, Rhonda. So, a lot of these cycles, I've been talking about the cycles that people go through pursuing, and then withdrawing. So two people get together, there's conflict, one person withdraws and feel like I got to protect myself and be by myself for a little bit, and the other person gets anxious and starts to pursue. That is a dynamic you see. Overgiving, and another person can overgive, people please, and often have some resentment uh because they're like, I don't think this person's appreciating what I'm doing for them. It's not personal. It's just that why are you feeling that you need to overgive to be in this relationship? And another big one is fear of abandonment. Fear is big. We even talked about that in the first book. So if that's an issue with you, I think it was chapter 4 or 5 in How to Be an Adult in Relationships. We went into the whole thing about the fear of abandonment and what that looks like. This book is also doubling down on this whole concept. So y'all gonna get this. Everybody in here, y'all gonna get this. If you, if anything, come into this book club, you're really gonna understand the dynamic of the fear of abandonment and fear of vulnerability. You're not used to being vulnerable. You're not used to talking about how you feel and what you think and being vulnerable. That's a tough one too because you're scared. Being vulnerable is like you want to you want to hide because I don't know if somebody is going to make me feel bad and I'm ashamed. So what people do, they put up their defenses, you know? And some people fear of being controlled. It's just all sorts of dynamics that happens And the key is that without awareness of this, people tend to reenact old relational patterns, and you're automatically doing it. Your nervous system is drawn to what it knows. And sometimes it's not healthy. Sometimes it's not the healthiest thing. Many people mistake that emotional intensity for love. And chaos, inconsistency, distancing yourself, emotional inavailability, that's not normal. Like, that's not healthy at all in relationships. But for some of us, it feels normal. That was the blueprint that was given to you. And we're all worthy and capable of a healthy love. And sometimes, if we lay out what healthy love looks like, that may feel unfamiliar. You're like, what's going on? This person is boring. This person is boring. No, person's not boring. They're healthy. Healthy love. So I like this book because it's inviting all of us to start to become conscious of the patterns that we might be repeating in relationships. And healing really starts when we stop blaming your partner for the problems. Stop only blaming the relationship in front of us and start to examine the deeper patterns beneath it. So we don't want to make anybody feel bad about anything. Oh, no, it's all my fault. The point is to be a compassion, show compassion for yourself and your partner, be accountable, but also be aware of these patterns. All relationships have a dynamic and a pattern to it. And we develop these patterns for survival sometimes and for protection. Sometimes it interferes with intimacy. And without intimacy in a relationship, you feel lonely. What's the point of being in a relationship if you're just going to feel like you're by yourself and you have nobody you can confide in, you have no one that can help you? So, um, these are some things that we've been talking about. I'm trying to think what else is important. Let me look at the other sections that we've been looking at. Oh, we've also talked about often we bring our inner child into relationships, of course, without realizing it. And um, what else? Um, our relationship struggles are often echoed by earlier experiences, naming the pattern and consciously interrupting that pattern. So awareness allows choice. Once you start to understand and become aware of it, you can choose something different and be able to identify, oh, that's a dynamic. That's not working for us in this relationship. Let's make the choice to change and to choose something different. So today, we're digging deeper into the question of where it all began. So it's preparing us now to fully understand that current relationship pain that you have has roots in early childhood experiences, lots of family dynamics, and emotional environment that shaped our understanding of love. So, where it all began, that's what we're going to try to. We built up all the way to this part. I am thirsty. Okay, so now we begin at where it all began. I've kind of summed up what I think we have been talking about. I also want to let people know that I have a retreat, the Healing Haven Winter Solstice Retreat. I want to, let me see, let me see if I can look over here and find the link. I did like a little copy of the link over. Let's see if I can. Oh, the link. Um, it's called, I don't have it here, but I'll type it into the chat. Escape with Dr. Alicia. Escape with I'm going to have a Q&A. If anybody's interested in coming, look out. I'm going to have a Q&A so I can answer anybody's questions about this retreat. And I think it'll be really wonderful to bring some of this into the retreat so that we can have a greater awareness of ourselves. And so I'll be talking to you a little bit more about this retreat. Okay? Where it all began. All right, let's start. Oh, it starts with a quote. The quote is where it all begins. It says, our nature is that we tend to live up to the expectations of our elders. We tend to live up to the expectations of our elders. And the person who said that is Jean Leodolf. I don't know who that person is, but it's our nature that we tend to live up to the expectations of our elders. Can we pass it? I don't know. Huh. This lady, Jean, I think it's a lady, I'm not certain. Maybe she's saying that children are constantly absorbing messages about who they are, what is expected of them, what roles they are supposed to play. Over time, they often begin to act in ways that match those expectations. I mean, all of us are, in some aspect, are living up to the expectations of our parents. How could we not be living up to the expectations of our parents? If a child is treated like they're capable, like they are thoughtful, like they are worthy, they are more likely to grow into those qualities. How you're treated. If a child is treated like they are a burden, like they are troublesome, if they're treated like they're difficult or disappointing or somehow incapable, they also embody those labels. How about that? A child receives messages about how adults in their life growing up, our nature, we live up to the expectations of our elders. So children live up to your expectations. The way, based on the way that they're treated. Children don't only respond to rules, but they also respond to beliefs. So it's so important that you breathe life into a child. It's so important for you to think about how was life imported into you when you were growing up. Did people tell you you're so responsible? I know you can handle this. This is hard, but you can handle it. Then maybe you start to understand I'm trustworthy and I'm competent. If a child grew up in a household where they say you didn't mess this up, you did this wrong, where they feel this constant criticism, they may begin to expect failure. So if a child feels that the adults around them believe in them, then they believe in themselves. If they feel judged or shamed or dismissed, they start to shrink. And sometimes they will act out. They become real rebellious, rebellious children because they're acting out because of the pain. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's what happens in relationships. And elders be can become the emotional stratosphere that a child lives in. A child is very, very sensitive to that stratosphere. Think about it. You have to be, it's a survival mechanism. You got to be, you're a helpless person. So you have to. Okay. So I think that's what this quote is talking about. Um, where it all begins, you living up to. So they're telling you, it matters. This kind of thing like really matters because as adults, all of us, we're living out expectations that we absorbed a whole long time ago. Oh my gosh. Sometimes we hear messages. I gave a speech today. And shout out to everybody in Elwood. I gave a speech today in Elwood, Illinois, and it was the 3M experience. It was about money, menopause, and mental health. And my job was to speak about mental health. And I did talk about like as adults, we're living out these expectations that we have to keep the peace, that especially women, it's a woman's job to keep the peace, that even though somebody might be feeling hurt, somebody might want to call someone out, somebody might have issues, like real problems with other people in the family, but it's our job to kind of know, I want to keep the peace. Let's just keep the peace and let's just get along for Christmas time. Or let's get along for Easter that's coming up. It's Easter. Let's just ignore all everything else that's happened and let's all keep the peace and get along with each other for Easter, for the sake of Easter, for the sake of family. So what you're saying is that we're going to let the person off the hook. Somebody who has been doing things that they know they shouldn't be doing, saying things, doing things, harming other people in the family. And just because you're family, we're supposed to ignore all of that because it's Easter. So sometimes you get the impression that you have to bury your feelings, your true feelings, suppress them, just so that you can enjoy Easter. So there's got to be a healthier way to communicate your boundaries, and you have to be supported to speak up. I talked about that today, especially with women. I think men sometimes are given this message that there's a duty. They have to have duty and responsibility and all of these things they have to hold on to. And sometimes it can be very stressful for men too. So it's not just women, it's for men that we're supposed to never disappoint anybody. That you're supposed to put everybody's needs ahead of you. You're like a saint. So later in life, these people struggle with relationships. They struggle to live up to these expectations instead of being their true self. So that was what I talked about today at this women's conference. It was really nice. It was a great turnout. I had a lot of fun. Okay. All right. But let's move on. Oh, and before we move on, I do want to ask everybody if you have any relationship questions, be sure to put it in the Q&A because I've spent some time going over some Q&A. Oh, I see some Q&A already in there. In the Q&A, I see some questions in there. Oh, yes. Okay. All right, let me I will get to those in a second, but let's get through this a little bit more of this book because we've got through nothing of this book. Okay. All right. Where it all begins, our nature is that we tend to live up to the expectations of our elders. Okay. Thank you, Rhonda, for telling us who Jean is. Jean was a woman. She was a woman. Okay, I figured she was. Is an American author and best known for a book called The Continuum Concept, which advocated for attachment parenting based on her time living in the Yaquana tribe in the Amazon forest. She was nicknamed Jungle Jean. Wow. 1926. Good grief. She lived a long life. 26. She died in 2011. Long life. Very long life. Thank you. Thank you, Rhonda. Let's begin. Our conscious our consciousness first gets imprinted with a sense of what to expect in our relationships, starting with our mother and our time in the womb. For example, if our mother consistently experienced love, nurturance, and attentiveness during pregnancy, you ain't even born yet. It may imprint on our consciousness the expectation that relationships are safe. It gets infused in the womb. Wow. Supportive and comforting. On the other hand, if our mother experienced high levels of stress or emotional turmoil during pregnancy, it might leave us with an unconscious anticipation of relationships being unpredictable or filled with tension. It starts in the womb. The baby tunes into what the mom's experiencing. Wow. Hmm. As we enter the world, our mind's attachments continue to expand to every relationship we encounter, each one profoundly impacting our sense of self, our expectations, and our view of the world. Children who grew up witnessing or experiencing verbal abuse, infidelity, addiction, religious judgment, a lot of religious trauma, a lot of religious trauma I come in contact with. I do hear a lot about that. Religious judgment, high control religions will do this. Emotional instability or hostile rage between their parents often find themselves repeating these same patterns with their current partners despite their intentions to be different. I promised myself I was not going to repeat what happened to my parents, and God dang it, I'm repeating it. What's wrong? They do have scientific, thank you, Janice. They do have scientific proof that it starts in the womb. Y'all go to my Instagram page. I did a thing on this. I was reading this article about a lady who worked with Bowlby, John Bowlby. She did a lot. Do y'all know who John Bowlby is? Rhonda, put in the chat who John Bowlby. John Bowlby, it was beautiful. He was the guy who came up with, there was a lot of other people who picked up on a lot of his studies, but he worked with the monkeys and he discussed attachment. And there have been a lot of people who validated a lot of his experiments and his theories, and it's been tested. So it's pretty stable. And he was the father of attachment theory. And he mentioned that our attachments with our parents shape who and what we are to become now. So the basis of human behavior, a lot of it we can thank John Bowlby for, especially with child development and so forth. How a child's environment growing up and in the womb can dictate the quality of their mental health and everything. It's environment. It's DNA too. Thanks, Ron. It is hereditary, but a lot of it can be triggered by your environment. You know, sometimes you can have the gene for a mental health issue, but it doesn't have to be activated. It doesn't have to be triggered. There's things you can do. So your DNA or your genetics is not, you're not destined to express it. So it's environmental. The thing is it, genetic or environmental? The answer is both. So anyway, John Bowlby. So there was a lady, she was a researcher, she worked with John Bowlby, and they worked on a project together, and they interviewed soon to be parents. So they interviewed the mom, they interviewed the father. It was one of the very first articles that included fathers, because a lot of those articles, especially Bowlby, blamed moms for everything. Like if your child turned out wrong, they blame the mother. But this study um, not only looked at the mom, but it also looked at the father attachment and how they were able to reflect on who and what they are. And to be able to reflect on your own experiences, you have to be connected emotionally. And in order to teach your child to connect emotionally, you have to be able to connect with yourself emotionally. And what they found was that parents were able to transition into soon to be parents were able to transition into parenthood with a secure attachment if they were able to have this reflective functioning. And it predicted the type of attachment that the mom has with the baby. So, yeah, there's a lot of science coming out, especially about in utero experiences and how it affects the child. So we have to really, really love our moms, soon to be moms. The best way to love your baby is to love the mother. And the best way to love your baby is to love the father. Science tells us this. So it's not just something that we think. There's been a lot of studies now that predict what's going on. So follow me on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia, and there's a video on there. And I may do more videos like that. I don't know. I'm just busy. I have clients, I have a full-time job, y'all, full-time college professor. I got a lot going on. So, but I work 9 months out of the year. So I got my summers off. So I'll be doing my summer project, but it's a lot to do, but I'll try to do as many as I can. I can't be like Dr. Boyce. He posts a lot. I just don't have the time or the energy for it because I'm busy. But anyway, go follow me on Instagram and I'll do really interesting things on Instagram like that. Okay, let's go. As we enter the world, our mind's attachment, now we're entering into the world as babies, we're newborns. As we enter the world, our mind's attachments continue to expand to every relationship we encounter, each one profoundly impacting our sense of self, our expectations, and our view of the world. Children who grew up witnessing or experiencing verbal abuse, infidelity, addiction, religious judgment, I just read this, emotional instability, or hostile rage between their parents often find themselves repeating these same patterns with their current partners despite their intentions to be different. Hurt people will still entangled in the web of their own unresolved inner child wounds, usually unintentionally pass on their trauma to their partner and their children, perpetuating the very pain they hope to avoid. That's real talk. That's real talk right there. Common examples. Witnessing a parent's infidelity may instill skepticism toward love and commitment. This skepticism can manifest in two ways: an outright rejection of love and commitment, fearing the pain of betrayal because they saw it, or within a committed relationship, an ongoing paranoia about a partner's fidelity. Do you have any evidence that your partner is not faithful? No. Why do you think this would be the case? This fear might even drive us to cheat first as a way of preemptively manage the anticipated betrayal, maintaining a sense of control over a situation we've come to view as inevitable. So many times, you have a conversation with someone about fidelity. Hold on. There's an agreement for fidelity. Why wasn't that upheld? Who in your family was unfaithful? Who told you that that was okay to do? Where did you learn that? How did it feel when you saw it happen in your household? Didn't feel so great. So, what is it that you think you're doing to other people? These conversations you got to have. As a therapist, I have them a lot. Rhonda, who are you? You're my girl. Ayurvedic, private practice for women. Yes, I love. I was just talking to someone about retreats and doing an Ayurvedic retreat was something that I'm interested in. I know I got all sorts of ideas that I'm fascinated. That's fascinating to me, and so I want to show everybody all the things that I'm learning about Ayurvedic private. I don't know if that's how you spell it. Oh, that might be a typo. But anyway, thank you, Rhonda. Okay, let's move on. Gr- Um, oh, growing up in a household where emotional volatility and verbal abuse were commonplace. People just cussing each other out, just reacting without ever seeing conflicts resolved healthily can shape our approach to confrontation. In confrontational situations, we might find ourselves either completely withdrawing, mirroring our learned response to avoid conflict because it was frightening when you saw it, or reacting with the same intensity of emotional volatility that we witnessed in our parents, operating under the belief that this is simply how relationships function. This is how relationships function. What you get mad at somebody, you start yelling at somebody. Let me tell you, I when I was younger, I was well not younger, when I was in my 20s, I had I had a best friend and she was Italian and we worked together and it was so funny and I went to her house for dinner and I couldn't believe how loud Italians were. Italians were loud. I was like, Italians, I was like, y'all like black people. Y'all, we were just noisy. Like everybody was just kind of talking really loud with each other. I don't know. I just thought that was really funny because it just reminded me of black families. So I gotta charge up my laptop, my iPad. So anyway, I just thought it was really funny, really cultural thing. Oh God, JP Wingate, who are you? I'm gonna get to all your questions. JP woke up today. JP got, oh, this is voice calling me. Should I answer it? I can't answer it. I'm gonna answer it later. I'm gonna let him know I'm in the book club. Hold on. I don't want, I hate to ignore him when he calls. Hold on. I'm in book club. Okay. All right. He's in book club. Okay. I'm not going to answer Monica. He knows. He should know. I just let him know where I am. Okay. All right. Moving on. If our childhood environment was characterized by constant judgment and a competitive dynamic between our parents, we might find ourselves in a pattern of nitpicking and judging our partner. This behavior is often an attempt to feel superior within the unspoken competitiveness of the relationship, leading to a cycle of guilt, pride, he's sending me messages, guilt, pride, and tension. This dynamic is a learned attempt to recreate the familiar, although unhealthy, relationship model we grew up observing. Yes, Irma, Greeks are loud. And you know who else is loud? I hung out with Puerto Ricans and they were loud too. And I started thinking like ethnic groups. And I grew up in Gary, Indiana. I never knew like we didn't dissect white people up. And I started realizing I'm like, wait, white people come in all sorts of cultures. So I was like, oh, I'm like the Greek people, they really not that white. I don't consider them white. Italians, I really didn't consider them white either. It just weren't Anglo-Saxon. Like they weren't WASP. I guess WASP, white and Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Those are white people, but ethnic diversity and other ethnic groups they have a lot of I mean, they have a lot of everything, and they do a lot of things with a lot of passion and all that. I started realizing. So it's really good to get out there and learn about. And it's funny, I was talking to my husband about, I'm tired of this angry black woman trope that people look down upon, because I'm like, wait, why is it not okay for a black woman to be outspoken when I hear, Hispanic moms being outspoken? Have y'all been around a Hispanic mom? They don't take no mess. And they really, you talking about protecting their sons. Anybody who knows a Hispanic mom, Hispanic moms, like they really take care of their sons. Their sons don't. Yeah, and I realized that Greeks are like loud too, and they're, and so are Italian moms are, woo, they are feisty in the kitchen. Like if you're an Italian man, and it was funny the dynamic that I saw, the Italian man would come into the kitchen and she would be like, "What you doing in here? You can't be such and such," and he'd be like, I'm leaving out the kitchen." And so I just find that if you were a black woman participating in these things that's culturally, appropriate, it's somehow negative or somehow terrible. But all these other ethnic mothers and wives, they can be that way and it's okay. And I think, I don't know why. I feel like just the world is really hard on black women. I'm just telling you, like, we're not allowed to be angry. In a lot of ways, we should be angry. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of like getting on a tangent, but anger is a sign that you love yourself. How about that? Anger is a sign that you love yourself. Anger is a very effective emotion because it also tells you that you need to set up some boundaries. Anger is a great lesson. Yeah, I'm not talking about rage. I'm talking about anger. And the most compassionate thing you can do for yourself is allow yourself to express healthy anger and allow other people around you to express healthy anger. I'm mad at you for that. That was inappropriate. And it's okay to speak up about the things that bother you. Because if not, your body feels it. How many research, I was just talking about this today in my speech. How many research has been done on people with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, all autoimmune diseases, as well as cancer, all is tied back to not being able to express yourself and being authentic and talking about how you really feel and living out the values, all of the things that are important to you, being able to say it and to speak up about it and to open your mouth up about it. It is okay to do that. And if you don't, you'll end up in hospitals. Hospitals are full of people, patients who are very, very kind, very nice. How could something so awful happen to somebody so nice? And this is why. And yeah, Dr. Matei. Thank you, Doc. Who mentioned Dr. Matei? Yeah, you learned that from Dr. Matei's book. He talked about that. Ron said they always paint the picture of the angry black woman, white media. Ron, it's not just white media. There are black men online who are just as awful as the white media. We have the right to express. We just get the smoke for it. Yes, Cheryl. That's so accurate. And it's funny because I always try to understand, why is this person angry? And I remember going, well, what happened? What is it that made that person angry? What was going on? And people want to blame the person who's angry, like there's something wrong with them. Well, there's something wrong with everybody else for not being angry. Because there's a lot of things that happen in families and in the world and everything else that is, not accurate. Black mothers should not be looked upon as angry when we're just reacting in our protective self-care demeanor. Yeah, demeanor. Yes. Anger is healthy. Okay. I got off a little bit on a tangent, but I'm okay. Um, what else? Okay. Observing a lack of emotional intimacy and affection between our parents. Ooh, so parents were roommates. Might lead us to believe that all long term relationships will eventually become dull and devoid of passion. This belief could result in either a reluctance to engage in long term relationships or a tendency to gradually cease pursuing intimacy within a long term relationship, assuming the decline of passion is unavoidable and part of commitment. That is very true. So, what we're learning here, it's not that you grew up with your mom and dad in the house. That's not enough. What did you see between them? And some people may say, why do we have to be intimate with each other? You live in a fantasy. Have y'all ever heard of that? Why do we have to continue to work on passion? This is just what long term relationships are like. And the fact that you think that we should be passionate means that you're not realistic. Well, why? Some people think that this is just how it's supposed to be. And if you get into a relationship and you challenge that, it's challenged. You might look at that other person like there's something wrong with them. Well, no, the relationship is whatever you make it. These are myths. You can cherry pick. I think it's okay to cherry pick. What parts of your family growing up do you want to continue forward into your family? What parts of the relationships you saw growing up that you want to get rid of? It's okay to do that. You and your partner can decide how you want your relationship to operate. And it's not a fantasy to think that infidelity is okay. It's not a fantasy to think that you're supposed to be putting each other down or yelling at each other. That's not a fantasy. That's unhealthy and toxic. Men are expected to be celibate once their wives decide to become asexual. Well, we need to find out what's going on there. Is that working for you? Is it working for you? Talk to each other. Talk about how it feels. How does it feel? Nobody's asexual. You can decide to be that way, but what happened? Have you been doing all the housework? Do you feel unappreciated in your relationship? Usually it's something else happening. From where I'm sitting, that's what I see a lot. Not talking. Yeah. Okay. These examples highlight the intricate ways in which patterns of dysfunction modeled during our upbringing manifest in our adult relationships in chapters 4 through 20. So they letting you know right now it's going to take a whole lot of chapters to talk about this. In chapters 4 through 20, we will dive deeper into each major wound. They're going one by one, you guys. Each major wound theme of consciousness that may impact us, their unidentifiable qualities, and how to reconcile them. For now, begin to trace the connections between your past experiences and their influence on your current thoughts and behaviors. Your perceptions of relationships are shaped by various influences from your past. Every belief, expectation, and reaction you have towards relationship has been learned from someone or something in your life. Overall, the relationships we encounter throughout our lives, from the earliest stages of childhood to adulthood, shape our understanding of what to expect from others. These experiences can influence our self perception. Wow, it's a reflection of how you think yourself. They shape our beliefs about love and connection and impact our overall worldview. It is important to recognize that some of these influences may be beneficial. They may foster healthy relationship expectations, while others may be destructive, leading to disorganized perceptions of unhealthy patterns. And there you go. Wow. And the next section is breaking the cycle. Let me put a, oh wait, how do I'm trying to, breaking the cycle. Okay, I bookmarked that. All righty. How's everybody doing? It is powerful, Dr. Vibe. This is really something. Um, let me just, let's see how YouTube is doing. Um, Let me go in. I'm gonna answer some questions. I see all the questions in the chat. But before I answer the questions in the chat, I want to say hello to everybody in YouTube world and try to see where's where's YouTube. Okay. Hello everyone in YouTube. Um, I want to say, um, wait, where are you? Hey everybody in YouTube. Um, I want to check in and see how you're doing. Oh, we got a few people here in YouTube world. Hey, everybody. I see you all in YouTube. Listen, you can join us. Um, wait, you can here. You can join us. Uh, let me, oh, let's see. Dr. Alicia, bookclub.com. Go to draliciabookclub.com and be sure to join us there. If you want to come to my retreat, is in December, so you have time to think about it. Go to escape with dralicia.com. Go there and learn about my retreat. Come join me in the retreat. Okay, everybody. Um, where are where are you guys? Okay. All right. Let me go back to Zoom and say hello to everybody in Zoom. Okay, I'm gonna now answer Q&A questions. Let's see. The first question, oh, our first question is, we got a few in here, by Dr. Vibe. Okay, Dr. Vibe is asking, oh, wait a minute, let me get rid of YouTube. YouTube is still up for some reason. Okay, Dr. Vibe is asking, why does our brain mistake familiar pain from childhood for romantic chemistry? Ah, okay. So the thing, hmm, you're not conscious of this. So it's not something that you're fully aware of. I think like the brain is not asking, is this healthy? The brain is really asking, is this familiar? And there's a difference between that. So, what sometimes in relationships, there are some things that feel familiar, emotionally magnetic, but sometimes it ain't something that's right for you. Um, let's see, what's happening is that our if we think about where it all begins, our brains and even our nervous system and how we respond to things, those are shaped by early relationships. If love in childhood, for instance, was mixed with inconsistency, love in childhood was mixed with criticism, or for a lot of us, unpredictable environments. Um, the need to work, it worked in us the need to work really, really hard to develop a connection with our caregivers because people may have been distant or things were unpredictable or you just felt emotionally hungry. Um, that environment can become a template for what our body feels as love. So later on, you meet somebody who's a little reminiscent of that, who activates that same emotional pattern, and the body is responding to this with such intensity, obsession, anxiety, longing for another person. And maybe you grew up with a parent who was inconsistent. Sometimes they were in tune with you, sometimes they weren't. Sometimes, they were not very consistent. You couldn't predict your environment. Well, if you meet a person and there's all this emotional highs and lows, sometimes you can label that as chemistry. Ooh, so much chemistry there. But that chemistry is not sometimes healthy. Sometimes your body is saying, I know this pattern. This pattern is familiar. I've seen this before. I've been here before. This feels like home. Even if home was painful, it still feels like home. So your body prefers familiar over the unknown, even if the unknown is healthy. So have you ever, I remember I was talking to a friend of mine who had the two guys were interested in her. One guy was a hot mess. He was not consistent at all. He was just, oh my God, he just would lie all the time. He would do all these things. And then another guy, she would call him square. She's like, he's so square. I said, why is he square? She'd be like, well, he has a regular 9 to 5 job, and he's just square. I don't like that. He was, and when I met him, he was just normal. He was safe, he was consistent, but she was not attracted to that, even though that was healthy. Have y'all met people like that? I'm like, this person is like, could give you the beautiful relationship you've been looking for, but you go after this guy. You go after this type of guy. And it's because you're drawn to what's familiar to you. Sounds like one cannot be able to attract a good mate if you have childhood trauma, if you have unhealed childhood trauma, because I really do believe that people can start to reflect on this and they can choose, real love. Yeah, so I really do. That's a good question, Dr. Vibe. I really do think that childhood teaches us what to expect from love. So, if a child had an emotionally unavailable parent, they may be drawn to emotionally unavailable partners. If a child had to perform or to do all these things to get love, they may feel pulled toward partners whose affection feels conditional. I think y'all get the point. Okay, all right. Let's go to the next question. Thank you, Dr. Vibe. Okay, what role does the nervous system play in craving inconsistent partners over stable ones? I think I just answered that. Like Dr. Vibe has another question. What role does the nervous system play in craving inconsistent partners over stable ones? So, if a child grew up in chaos, household was chaotic. You come home from school, you don't know what to expect. At nighttime, maybe you're interrupted at night because your parents are fighting, whatever would cause chaos for you. You don't know the financial insecurity, the lights are on, car gets repossessed, all of these things that happen where things weren't consistent. Calm love, calm love, stable ones, Dr. Vibe, feels boring at first because their body has learned to associate activation of the body in the nervous system with attachment. So the question is not, why do I choose inconsistent partners? The better question would be, why does inconsistent partners and the pain, that pain from somebody being in and stay unstable, why does this pain feel familiar enough where I mistake it for love? That's a better question. Why is the fact that he don't show up when he says he's going to show up? Why do I love somebody who's not treating me the way I know I need to be treated? Why am I mistaken these behaviors as love? Well, it's because your body has learned, Dr. Vibe, you talked about the nervous system. Your nervous system, your body has learned that closeness, love, and pain belong together. Our brain mistakes familiar pain for romantic chemistry, and our early experiences teaches us that love is supposed to feel like this. Okay, I think we got it. All right, the next question. Oh my God, all these come from Dr. Vibe. Okay, how can Black people identify if they're repeating family patterns in their relationships? You can't not repeat family patterns in your relationships. So you're going to have to think about it. You're going to have to journal about it. You're going to have to go, You're going to have to just really tap into it because those patterns are there. They can't not be there. Yeah, they have to come to the book club. Thank you, Mike Millions. Okay, the next question. These are all from Dr. Vibe. I like this. What are three signs you're in a trauma bond? Not a healthy love. Dr. Vibe, we talked about that a few weeks back. We did a whole thing on trauma bonding. Let me try to feel if I can think about it. When you're insecure, a trauma bond. It's like the person who's hurting you, you're looking for the person who's hurting you to relieve your pain. Like that doesn't make sense. That's a trauma bond. You can't, you don't resolve issues. You stay together even though it's toxic. That's a trauma bond. Um, yeah, staying together even though the relationship is toxic. It's high, lots of highs and lots of lows. We're breaking up today. Oh no, we got back together. Rocky relationships, explosive. Thank you. Relationships like that, trauma bond. Um, Domestic violence issues, like relationships where abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, toxicity, those are trauma bonds. All right, last question for the night. What is a healthy expectation to have when dating to know if we should move forward in a relationship? The old me would look for those feelings of what I thought is love, but it was my issues. Janice, that's a great question. And you know what? We talk about that in the first book we read, How to Be an Adult in Relationships. They talked about dating. They also said, and let me see if I can try to remember what that book said. Healthy expectations to have when dating. You need to pick somebody who's available. My videos are on the website, on YouTube. Some of them are, Janice, I have dozens of videos. They're all over the place. Some of them are on my channel, some of them are on Fly Nubian Queen, some of them are on the Black Excellence channel. They're all over the place. Honestly, the best way to get my recordings is to go to the inner circle. Let me give you information about where to go to for the inner circle because all the book club videos are on this inner circle. Let me see if I can find, let me see if I can find it in the chat. I need to have, you know what I need to? Need to have some moderators. Okay. Here's the inner circle. Okay. There's the inner circle. If you want to join the inner circle and get the recordings, it's all together, neatly packaged together. And I guess there's nothing stopping you from getting the first month free and just downloading all of them and canceling your membership. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, but I hope you wouldn't do that. But you can go on there and download all of the book club videos are all posted there. So, yeah, it talks about dating. You need to date somebody who's available. That's the first one. Emotionally available, physically available, someone who's available. And another thing that we talked about in the book club is you need to date someone who is open to growing. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking at somebody who's able to be accountable when they fall, when they make mistakes. Someone who is open to grow and to be accountable for the mistakes that they make. Those are two things I can think of off the top of my head. We talked about that extensively in the book club. Someone who's done the work or doing the work or open to do the work. Thank you, Rhonda. Self-aware, not defensive. That's a good one. All of those. Thank you, Kimbrough. Nicole Kimbrough. I haven't seen that name in a while. So thank you. Okay. Any other question? I don't see any other questions. We got a lot here. I appreciate it. So those are our questions. Okay. Everybody, thank you. This is for you guys. I'm happy that you guys take out time on a Sunday night. It is very late, and to take out time for yourself. I think this is really wonderful. I would like to invite everybody to join me at the Winter Solstice Wellness Retreat in Costa Rica. There are some spots left open. We'll be there at the end of the year, and I really do think we had the No Kings rally this weekend. It was really nice to watch. It was just nice to watch those pictures of everybody out there protesting. I did not protest, but I was with them in spirit, and I really do think I talked about this in my speech today that I really do believe that women are going to save this planet. I really do believe that. Us women are going to save the planet because men have been running this planet and it has been nothing but death and destruction and um, talk about toxic behavior that's been out there. And I think that I think that we're the ones to do it. So sorry, fellas, if we gave y'all chance. I think that we will do it. And that's what I talked about today in Women's History Month. So anyway, I'll see y'all next. Let me see. Next week, am I going to be back on? Do I have something? Oh, Easter. Next week is Easter Sunday. So I think I'll be here. I got nothing planned. I don't go to mass. I probably won't go to mass, but even if I went to mass, I won't be in mass at nighttime. So I think I plan to be around. So we'll continue this. Anything is better than Trump and Netanyahu. Well, you can say that again. Anyway, bye everybody. Oh, and the active ingredients of healing, we're gonna meet tomorrow. Be ready. We got a really good talk tomorrow. Oh, let me put that link in case anybody wants to join us for the active ingredients of healing. It's what it really takes to heal. Let me see if I can find the link real quick. I told myself to have them all ready. Oh my gosh. I'm a good therapist, businesswoman. I gotta be good at being a bit good businesswoman too. Okay. Where is the I am a good businesswoman. Okay, use the word heal. Let me see. Use the word heal and join us. Um I'll put it in YouTube world. Sorry, it's a long link. I don't know how to do it any other way. I'm working on it. And here it is if anybody wants to join us live tomorrow night. Um, want to invite you to join the active ingredients of healing. You can use the discount code and we're going to do some more work. We do some real deep work. So I see you tomorrow, everybody. Bye. Oh, what time, Alicia? We meet at 7 Central, so 8 o'clock Eastern time. And we meet for 1 hour. And it's a lot of fun. So I hope to see you tomorrow, Alicia. All right, everybody, take care. Bye-bye. See y'all next week.